Hello, everyone, and welcome to a Silver Sunday. This Sunday, September 25th. I had to look at my calendar to remember exactly what day it was. How is everyone? How are you, Tommy?
Oh, am I the only? Yeah, I'm great. How about you? I was trying to get
For,
my
for
share
now, you
done.
are everyone, and whoever else
I am
will be listening.
everyone. Everyone is doing pretty good.
How's, how's
It's
Gabby?
Gabby. I could go get Gabby.
How's
We can
Renee?
partner her. Renee's doing pretty good. Renee's she was a little we had an incident last week. If
Yep,
anybody was wondering why I wasn't there, we had to.
we missed you.
Uh, yeah, we got it taken care of. So she's
Good.
doing good. She's doing good.
Well,
Yeah,
you let
it
her
was a
know that
mess.
we all asked about her. I hope.
Yes. Yeah,
Okay, good,
absolutely.
good.
Yep.
So she feels love from the Silverline crew.
Yep. I say that she's not 100%, but she's like 1,000% better. Does it make sense?
Okay. Yeah, absolutely
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which means it's like she was like negative 1,000.
Yeah, yeah, she wasn't feeling well enough, or she was feeling so bad. It was like, we need to go to the emergency room.
Oh,
And so,
that's terrible.
yeah,
Uh,
but, that's all right. That's all right. It's okay. It's all good.
it is. So let's see. I got too many windows open right here. I got Twitch and YouTube and I got to close some of these here. I was getting an echo from somewhere. Okay, so
Well, it's just you and I. Who's echoing?
I know, yeah. Well, it was the YouTube was echoing on me.
Oh,
Um,
gotcha.
so shout out to our sponsors. Thank you to Daytona Beach Comic Con. We've just had Daytona Beach Comic Con 2 weeks ago, and it was awesome. So we don't know the dates for next year yet, but I have already talked to Tom, and he has already said he wants Silverline back. So
That's very
I
good. Yeah,
yep,
it was a great show.
it was a lot of fun. Met a lot of cool people. Got to see talk to a lot of folks, and I know that um, I saw some original art. I saw some sketches being done. So it was a lot of fun. So as soon as we get the dates, we will let you all know. But yeah, if you like comics and you like comic cons, you should make your plans now. Matter of fact, if you're like, man, I didn't get to go this year, you should. It's September, so you just block out until we have the dates. Just
Start
block
working on
out all of September. Say is reserved for Daytona Beach Comic Con until we can find out the dates, and then as soon as we find out the dates, we will let you know here. But when I last spoke with Tom, he said he didn't have the dates just yet. So
Yeah, there
um,
was a bunch of us there too. What we had 12 people, 6 people, 9 people. How many people did we have?
there were 13 of us.
Ah, golly.
Yeah, yeah, because I kept saying we got a baker's dozen. So, yeah, there was
And
a
15 of Scott's kids, right?
and 15 of Scott's kids. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
probably he doesn't like it when I say that.
Somebody needs to tell Scott how that happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
something. I
not
don't know
sure he
what's going on.
knows. Yeah.
I don't think he does. I don't think he does at all.
Calculus says Bonacera. Bonacera.
Bonus service. I don't know.
Bonacera. I don't know what that is. It must be some math word because, calculus. What's up,
Calculus.
calculus? Good to see you here again. Oven, what is up, Oven? Good to see you
Howdy
as
do. Howdy
always,
do.
Oven. Thank you for hanging out with us. Let's see, we're still thanking sponsors right now. So thanks, shout out to Orlando Collector Deviants. If you are a fan, man, they had a tagline. I meant to. I kind of remember that. But if you're a fan of fandom. They are too. They go to a lot of shows and do these walkthroughs. Steve and Trish are very family oriented in all the stuff that they do. So
They were
follow them.
somewhere today. I saw them posting something. Where were they at today?
I don't know the answer to that. Yeah, they're always going places and posted those, and I'm not sure where they were. I think I saw that too, but I can't
Yeah.
remember where they. Oh, Calculus says Bonacera is Italian for good evening. So
Oh, bonus.
good evening to you as well, Vic. So
I know that. I knew that. The Flormonte. I
you
should know
should have
that.
known that. Yeah.
Sorry.
Also, Coliseum of Comics. If you're in Orlando area and you need some comic books, you need your comic book fix, you should go to Coliseum of Comics on East Colonial and in Claremont and look for your comics and ask for Silverline. They have a little special, it's their locals section, and Silverline occupies a good bit of that. So go there, tell them we sent you. And if you like getting variants of Silverline covers, you'll be able to get a variant, and it'll have Coliseum of Comics on the cover. So it's not a sticker; it's printed right on it. And I don't. They're so far. They've got. I guess it's okay to say. But their variants they're limited so far to 20 each. So it's a very limited run for those.
And then you just you had a signing just the other day, sort of mini signing.
Kind of a flyby impromptu signing.
Yeah.
Tim TK stopped by, as did Quentin Bedwell, and they signed a bunch of stuff
after the show. Yep.
And lastly, if you're a creator and you need to get your comics printed, you should look no further than Kablam Digital Printing.
Kablam!
They are
the number one printing company in the world.
That's right. So one of the things I always like to say about Kablam is they're a printing company, but they're a printing company run by comic book creators. So
yeah, those guys have been around for a little while too.
They've been around for a little while, and they know what you're looking for. They make comics, so they know what you're looking for. And as for where the rest of our crew is, we don't know.
No, we don't.
We don't know. We have as you might guess, we have a group chat amongst all of us, and we're not really sure. I'm getting one message here. So Roberta's not going to be able to make it. So we did just learn that, and we know Curtis is still taking care of some personal business. And we're hoping that he will return soon. As for the others, like Mike Belcher, who says he's coming on, and Wubba and Pete, I bet
Pete's asleep. I bet.
Yeah.
When he never misses it, but when he does, because he's like 4 or 5 hours in the future, right? So he's So I bet he forgot. Last time that he missed a show, he said he set the alarm and then he didn't. He slept right through it.
Yeah,
he usually sleeps and then gets up for the show, and then
didn't he have a show this weekend too, or is that coming up? Do you know? I think he was at a show this weekend.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I don't know for sure. Oven says, shout out to Peter Clinton, the humble penciler, for being the first to wish me a happy birthday yesterday. Happy birthday, Oven. We're not going to sing to you because I've heard Tommy sing.
To you. Happy birthday.
I am wearing one of our new shirts here. Can't see the whole
thing. Yeah, that's a Quentin shirt.
Yeah, that's Quentin artwork on there. Absolutely love these.
That's a smart looking shirt.
Yeah, and Matt, if you're listening, I saw your message earlier today. I got to respond to you. No, it is not too late as long as we can get that quickly. And Matt asked if it was still too late to order a shirt, and it is not. But we got it because we were going to make that Monday or Tuesday. We got to
put the order in for the shirt.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So no, it's not. But if you're listening, Matt, that's the answer. But I will respond on there as well.
Yeah, because that's not a Kablam thing. Kablam doesn't print the shirt. Yeah, they used to. I'm not saying we. I meant they, Kablam, whoever those guys are. They used to have a direct to garment printing machine, and for what I understand, that didn't work out too well.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What's he say here? Vic says they were kidnapped by a gang of wild letterers, talking about our missing folks here.
Probably.
So, since it's just me and you, Tommy, I'm going to go ahead and I see you shared already. I'm going to go ahead and put your stuff up there. Whoop, that didn't work out. Oh, it's because I got to add it to the stream. There we go. So what are we looking at, Tommy?
This is Trump's. Oh, I thought it said page 4, page 16, but I know I've done pages past that. So I think I counted them up. I think I've got 4 digital pages and 2 on paper pages, and then I'm done with the inking parts. And you were telling me yesterday that the colors have already got started. So
yep. I have seen a few. I didn't count them, but I spotted in the folder that Sid Vin Blue has got some colors in there. So
I can't wait.
I know I need to get in there and and poke around and look at them. So we're gonna leave that up while you and I talk. We're gonna watch you ink. So our topic tonight, we'll just get into it. Our topic tonight is how to talk to celebrities. And so when I first brought this up, you're like, "What do you mean?" And so I think
I talked yesterday. We went bike riding and we were like, "What are you talking about? Talking to celebrities?"
So I think let's talk about it a couple of different ways. Okay, so I think that for us, right, there is celebrities in the sense of comic book people, and then there's celebrities in the sense of famous like movie stars and stuff like that. So let's hold those separately, because I'm gonna guess, if you're like me, those are two different people groups to you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I did think about it a little bit since we talked about it yesterday.
Yeah, because I think I look at like movie stars and actors and things like that. I do kind of look at them more as celebrities and people that are more famous. But when it comes to comic book people, I don't look at them as like famous. They're famous to me and you, but John Byrne is not the same as, Liam Neeson.
I wonder if he thinks that.
Well, we're not going to go there.
Okay.
Vic says, I'm still kicking myself for not even trying to talk to George Perez at the last convention. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's one of the things too. I think that when you're a comic book person, and I know every comic book creator that I know would tell you, Vic, go up and say something to them. There's very few comic book creators, and we can name off a few, but there are very few that that aren't kind and friendly. I'm sure there's some.
I've got a couple of stories, but we won't go into too much.
No, let's not talk about them. So you want to talk about comic creators first, or you want to talk about famous like movie stars?
Well, my problem, and this is the kind of, and we've mentioned it on the show many times, that I don't remember anybody. So you're laughing your butt off over there. So I've got a different opinion than what most people would think. So you're right. There is a difference between famous comic book artists, whoever, compared to a movie star, right? Because there was a show in Pensacola called Pensacon where we get invited, or I get invited, some of the guys, and we get to go into the green room. And they have a lot of celebrity folks that go to that thing. Most of them are B type folks, but it's a lot of them. And when I go and see those guys, when I go into the green room to get food, and because sometimes I just go down there and hang out. Don't tell the people that go to the show. I'm supposed to be at my spot, but I go down there and hang out. I just totally turn into just the silliest little kid geek and stuff. I mean, one time I walked into I've walked into one of the times it was what was the lady from the original Star Trek, the Sulu? No, not the lady.
Uhura.
She was before she's passed recently, right?
Yeah.
So she was there, and there was a bunch of people. I think there was a bunch of the Star Trek folks that were there, and Worf was there, and several of the other people, and then a bunch of just the background. There was a bunch of them in this green room, and the green room's tiny. It's like the size of my bedroom here. I mean, it was like where the food is anyway, right? You take your food, and then you go out and sit in the thing. And I walked into the room, and I think there was some Buffy people in there too. And I walked into the room and to go get my food, and I'm in the middle of the room, and I saw them all in there, and I just stopped, and I said, I love all of you guys, and I turned around and walked out. I sure did. I said, I love all you guys. Because those guys, they don't. You can tell when you walk into a room in this particular venue, that they think that you're some sort of TV or movie person or whatever. They don't realize that just they're letting the artist folks down here
You're
too.
just a comic book guy.
Yeah, just a comic book guy. So they think you're somebody already, and because I'm a real tall guy, they have a lot of wrestlers and stuff in there. I guess they might think. I mean, even though I'm not, huge muscular or anything, but I'm taller than any of the wrestlers that usually show up in there.
The stand-in for Chewie.
That's right. Yeah, could be. And and I just turned around, and they all started laughing, and I just walked out. And I didn't even get any food. I didn't get anything. But there was one time, even with the wharf, Michael, what's his name, Doran, Michael
Dorn, yeah.
There was, but they have all these little screens down there, the curtains and stuff that you walk through. And I was walking, and we bumped. We were kind of face to face, and he pulled his. He goes, "Here you go, young man," and then he let me buy it. I'm like, "That was Worf." And then Weird Al. One time, Weird Al was on an elevator that I was, and then I go, "Man, I love your music," and he just started laughing, and I just walked out as quickly as I could.
Funny.
But as far as you were saying about the artists and stuff, and the comic book people, not just artists. I'm sorry, all comic book folks.
Yeah.
I don't, because we don't know them. I mean, we see their pictures and stuff, and I recognize them every now and again. I think I know who this person is or whatever, but I don't remember all their name. So I end up talking to them and stuff, and then I find out that I've never met. I think I met George Perez once, but I'll just use it.
Yeah,
it was just like I was just talking to George Perez, and I just was talking to him like a normal person, and not like a super celebrity comic artist god kind of thing. And so that's where my problem comes in with the comic book folks, because I don't remember anybody. I it's not that I'm stupid. I just don't remember folks. I really don't.
And I think part of the problem is too for comics is that when you see like the Star Trek people,
let the screen go blank. Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, it just went blank and then shut off. Yeah. But when you see folks like that, you recognize them. I'm sorry, when you see the movie people, you recognize them from the movies. But when you see comic book people, you're like, I don't know who that is.
No.
Right? Like, because you don't recognize them because we don't see faces and stuff like that from the comic books. Not normally.
Yeah, like my business partner and you're my longtime buddy Barry Gregory. Right. When we go to San Diego, there's all kinds of movie star people just walking around out in the open, and amongst people. And if you're not really keeping your eyes open and paying, and trying to turn that part of your head on to visually know who everybody is, I just walk right by him, and Barry goes, "Do you know who that was? That was a guy from blah 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 blah." That was your favorite movie, and I'm like, "Was it really?" Oh God, it sure was. That was wow. That was really cool. What's he doing walking around with no security guards or whatever? Yeah, I'm terrible. I am so bad.
But those are the ones I think and that's part of the reason I think I like some of the smaller ones better than I like the bigger ones, because in the smaller ones, those celebrities will walk around the show. And those big ones are just kind of ushered from place to place, and you don't ever really get to see them except maybe up on the stage.
Yep. That's true. That's true.
I went to a comic show Jim Hall and I went to a comic show in Lebanon, Missouri. And there was a famous band there, one member from a famous band. And I know the band, I don't listen to them, but I knew the band. So it was like, if you'd have mentioned them, I'm like, oh yeah, I know who that is. Right. But I went to the green room and I'm sitting there eating, we're just chatting, right. But when the guy left, the other guy said, "Hey, you know who that was, right?" I'm like, "No clue." He goes, "Oh, that was so and so from." I'm like, "What? Really?
Really?"
I was just sitting there having a chat with him, and we were just chit chatting, and they're like, "Oh," then found out it's the famous dude from the band, and I'm like, "Well, crap, I didn't have a chance to be nervous."
Just shooting the crap with him, and
yeah.
And I think they like that, the fact that you're not totally, geeking out or whatever you want to call it, and they're having just, and then it's funny too, because you can go to some of these things and you I purposely will sit at a table with some people that I'm interested in, but I won't have and I listen to their conversations and stuff. It's fun.
Oh yeah,
it's really fun. Yeah.
Yeah. I was trying to. I can't seem to find it. I don't remember who it was, but and I feel bad now for not remembering, because it's one of those things like you should remember because it was like a famous band. But yeah. So so we got a couple comments here. Not to name names, but their name is Alan Moore. I've never met Alan Moore. I don't even think I've been at a convention that Alan Moore's been at. Have you?
Nope.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe.
Yeah,
yes. I'll say yes.
Yeah. I don't think he really comes to shows in the U.S. anymore. Vic says Weird Al. Yeah, Weird Al.
Yes, sure enough. Right in the elevator. Twice I was in the elevator with him.
That's pretty cool.
And they're just standing there and it's like, that's Weird Al. That's Weird Al. Yeah, that was cool.
Did you go look at that video I posted with Albuquerque? The song that he did. It's like a 10-minute video.
I don't guess I did.
Oh, dude, you need to go watch it. Not right now, but you need to go watch
it. I gotta go. I'll be back in a few minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. Yeah, I had never heard it before. It was just a few months ago, right? And I'm like, what, Albuquerque? I've never heard this one, right? It's just a story, right? He just tells this whole story for like 10 minutes. It is so funny. I'm laughing my butt off, right? And he goes to spell it, right? He goes, you know how in songs they're like A, B, right? He goes A, B, U, and then he goes, and there's a pause, and he goes, Kirky.
That's right.
It's like nobody knows how to spell Albuquerque. Owen says the same with voice actors. I have no idea what they look like. So yeah. I met Roger Burris. Do you know who Roger Burris is? I didn't either. That's okay. You would know if you heard his voice. He is the guy who does Squidward for SpongeBob.
Oh, okay.
Super, super nice guy, right? We were just standing there, and here's the thing about it. If you know me outside of these streams and conventions, right, I wear a lot of Razorback shirts, right? And I happen to have an Arkansas Razorback shirt on, and I'm standing there, just got into the doors, and someone says, "Woo Pig," and I turn around and look, right, and I'm like, "Hey, Woo Pig," and then we chat for a minute. I'm like, "Hey, you from Arkansas?" Blah, blah, blah.
Is that the saying that you guys say?
Yeah, it's the way. It's yes, it's kind of the way you cheer the Razorbacks on, right?
Oh, okay, all right, just check.
But here's the deal: I'm sitting there chit chatting with the guy, right? And suddenly I look beside him where he's standing, and there's this big banner that says Roger Burris, and then there's Squidward, and I'm like, "Holy crap! Is that you?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "Oh my goodness, my son is such a fan of SpongeBob." I said, "So am I, though." Yeah. So he actually made a really short video for Brett, and it was so cool. He said something like, "Hey," in the voice of Squidward. Hey Brett, happy birthday, and by the way, Woo Pig. So but apparently he's from Arkansas. Super nice guy. Vic says the only comic guy I could recognize is probably Rob Liefeld. Granted, he would be bouncing around. Yeah, you would recognize me and Tommy.
Yeah. We're superstars.
I think I
may not talk to you though. Unless
Yeah. All you would see of Tommy, right, would be this. Because he'd have his head down drawing, right?
As I'm running through the airport. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to
me. No, I think I probably would recognize a bunch of comic book people only because, in the 90s we had all the magazines and the Wizard magazine and the Comic Buyer's Guide, and there was frequently pictures of the creators in those. So
yeah, especially in Wizard, you remember they would always have those showcases.
Yeah. So you would recognize, but there were sometimes, you'd see somebody and like, who is that? Excuse me, who's that? Oh, that's so and so. Really, I had no idea. You're expecting them to look a different way than they actually. And maybe this is unfair, but I think sometimes you expect the creator to look like their art.
That I can see that. Yeah.
So I'm just waiting for somebody to say, oh, well, Robert Liefeld has feet. Yes, I know. Yeah. Vic says Amish Paradise is the best Weird Al song. I don't remember that one, but I may. Is that the one that same tune as because he has the original songs, and then he has these
just those parody kind of
the parody songs. And I like some of the parodies, but it's a lot of the original songs I think that I like the best.
I don't think I know any original songs that he does. The only ones I think I'm familiar with are parody songs.
Oh, you need to listen to Albuquerque then, because it's funny. But some of them are pretty good. I mean, obviously, because he's been around for so long, it is a hit and miss. Oh, Vic says Wizard was the worst. So, what did you not like about Wizard, Vic? I didn't mind Wizard. I think the thing that I didn't like about Wizard was all the price stuff. You remember they were coming out.
They were hyping stuff.
Yes,
that wasn't it. Yeah.
Yeah, and they kind of came out as a competitor to the not comic buyer's guide. That was the news rag, the comic book price guide, right? And their prices were always jacked up.
Yeah,
yeah. So and one of the things that I didn't like about it is that you could occasionally find the unscrupulous store owner that would sell you books based on the Wizard guide, but they would buy books.
I was about to say the exact same thing. Yes. You go to find something, and go, well, Wizard has it for XYZ, and I'm like, dude, no, no.
Yeah, but the comic book price guide has it for this, right?
Or you're not getting either of those. How about I give you $5 and let's be done with it, because you're not selling it for either of those prices.
Yeah. Well, I love to hear the comic shop folks will say, you know what, it's worth whatever I can get from it.
That's right.
That's the worth of it. And that's true. You remember at Daytona, we saw a book over on the stands not far. Like if you looked at Pete over his shoulder, where was like $1,600.
Yeah, dude, if you can get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, and I see some of these reports, these people buying things for, hundreds of thousands of dollars. I'm like, really? Who has that kind of money to buy? Now, I love comic books. Don't get me wrong. But who has that kind of money to buy a comic book? Yeah. Vic says the speculatory stuff that made it harder for comics to recover. Yeah. I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that at all. And I think that's when I talk about the price, jacking up the prices. That's kind of what I'm talking about. It was all we think this is going to be have a lot of value.
Very much. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to say I find a bit of a mixture. I never really got terribly nervous meeting comic book people, but now there were a couple. The time that I got to meet Stan Lee, I was nervous, right? The time that I got to meet Jack Kirby, I was nervous. I guess those are only two people I remember being nervous about meeting. Maybe before I broke in, getting to meet Walt and Louise, I wouldn't be nervous with them now because they're the two of the coolest people in the world, and we're still trying to get them to pop on with us too. Look at that. Bobby Westkovich says, hello, Big Dummy, putting y'all on Facebook at home. Thank you so much, Screw Loose. We appreciate you sharing us around, getting folks to come in and see us.
Well, since nobody else on the show, maybe we can get him to come in and talk to us.
Yeah. I did send a link to Rory.
Yeah, he probably would have jumped on by now if he was available. I would think. Yeah, because he usually jumps on pretty quick.
Yeah. Vic says, I have one eBay price shop in town and one little hole in the wall that I love. Yeah, the little hole in the walls tend to be, I think, some of the great shops. He says, "Oh, the breakfast or dinner? I can't remember what you said in that one interview." The
what?
I don't know. I'm having problems connecting the dots to this one here.
On the breakfast or dinner, I can't remember what you said in that one interview.
One interview, I said it.
Oh, the breakfast.
Oh, must be talking about Stan Lee. Yeah. Actually, you know what? I wasn't so nervous that time because I had already met Stan. And so the time we got to have lunch with Stan, there was about 5 of us from Malibu when Marvel purchased. Yeah, and that's what he said. Yeah, about meeting Stan Lee. When Marvel purchased, it's pretty funny. I owe all this to Malibu's Chris Holm, because one of the things that happened when Marvel purchased us, they said, "Well, what do you guys want? What can we do for you?" Chris Holm said, "We want to meet Stan Lee." So he was able to set up a lunch meeting with Stan Lee with the editorial staff.
That's cool.
Yeah. And that was very cool. But getting to talk to folks, I'm just gonna ramble off some comic book names. People like Walt Simonson, Marv Wolfman, John Byrne. Those people. I mean, I was always, I was never nervous to meet them, but it was always kind of exciting because it's like, hey, I read so much of your stuff. When I got to be, I was always a huge Steve Englehart fan, and I got to be his editor for when I went out to Malibu, and that was interesting, going from being, I'm one of your biggest fans to now I'm your editor. That was an interesting transition to make, and I think that's always interesting in comics. If you look at people who are editors, you're like, okay, well, are they big fans, or are they, and I've heard stories that sometimes creators will take advantage of that, and it's like, hey, I know you're a big fanboy, maybe of mine or just in general, and so I'm going to push you around a little bit. I never knew anybody to do that, but I've heard stories.
Yes, Steve Englehart was pretty cool when I was doing the Nightman stuff. When I was able to talk to him on the phone a couple of times while we were working on it, and he was always really nice to me. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
You remember me now, but that was pretty cool.
Yeah. Did you jump on Wednesday when he?
No, I sent a couple of I was lurking and put a couple of messages in there, and then he didn't act like he remembered, so I didn't jump on there. I didn't want to be like, okay, he doesn't remember. Yeah.
Well, you gotta consider
how many things that he's worked on,
right, and he might have a little of the same issues you have a little bit. Sometimes I'm not sure who I worked with in this.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I will say though that I think sometimes it depends on what you want to say to them. Like, I remember being a little bit nervous because I asked John Byrne to do a story. I asked him to draw for Malibu, and I was a little bit nervous to do that. And I don't know why I was nervous, because we had a budget, and it wasn't like I was going, Mr. Byrne, hey, I love you. Can you? It was like, no, hey.
You want to do my book?
Right. Yeah. But it's like, no. We actually had, there was something that we were trying to cook up and put together. Did I ever tell you that story with the?
No, I don't think so.
Right. So here's my John Byrne story. Right. So, so I'm a huge fan of Roger Stern, the writer. Okay. I think Roger Stern has written he's one of the best, I think, one of the best unsung comic book writers out there. A lot of people know Marv Wolfman and other people, blah, 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 blah. But, you don't really hear people talking about, someone like Roger Stern. But I look at his Avengers stuff and go, man, this is some of the best Avengers stuff written. So, towards my final year at Malibu, we kind of got the green light to do some slightly different stuff. So I reached out to Roger Stern, and I said, hey, I've always been a fan of your work. I would love for you to put something together with us here. And so he and I chit-chatted a little bit. Super nice guy. I talked to I talked to several writers that I like, people like Ann Nesenti, David Michelini. Anyway, so Roger Stern said, tell you what, he says, if you can get John Byrne to agree to draw it, I will write this for you. And I don't remember. I may have had a specific project that I wanted him to do. I can't remember. So I said, okay, I'll ask him. And I said, he's going to be because I was just getting ready to go to a show, probably San Diego. I don't remember that. But I was just getting ready to go to a show and John Byrne would be there. So I said, well, I'm not going to call him. I'm going to go up and approach him in person. Right. So, so I went several times looking for him and he was never there. And finally I spotted him walking across and I just said, I got to go. And I took off running and I said, hello, Mr. John Byrne. I said, my name is Roland Mann. And he just smiled. He goes, I know who you are. And I said, I wanted to talk to you. He said, Roger told me you'd be coming. And I said, did he really? He goes, I appreciate what you're about to ask me. He said, but I don't have time to do it. And he was doing Next Men at the time. So he was like, no, he goes, I appreciate you asking. He said, but he said, I don't have time. So look, Vic's even just asked, did it happen? No, it didn't happen. And so he was very nice to me. It was not a long conversation, but it was just it was that question and just a little bit of chit chat. But then I called Roger Stern back and I said, so you warned him that I was coming.
Yeah.
He said, yeah. He goes, I didn't want you to catch him totally by surprise. I said, well, he said no. And he goes, yeah, I thought he might. I'm like, so there's no one else I can find. He goes, nah. He goes, I appreciate it. So I never did get to work that out. I did get Ann Nesenti though. Ann Nesenti wrote some mantra for me. I can't remember exactly how much, but she wrote some mantra, and I was excited about that. But I never could get anything going with Stern or David Michelini, who I would have liked to have had. Okay, now you're back on.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was. I looked up and I'm like, it didn't come back on.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
So yeah, I think for me, I don't have any problems approaching any comic book people now. I think there's some who maybe today have some attitudes, and I'm kind of thinking maybe more new stars.
For me, it was just some of the other established people. I don't usually have a problem with the younger folks.
No. Oh, look at this. Mr. Roy Boyle's joining us.
Hello, boys.
Howdy do.
How's your weekends going?
That's all right. It's all right. How about you?
Good. A lot of schoolwork, lab reports, and yard work.
Yeah. We're just, down here in Florida, we're getting ready to hunker down.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Let's see what's going to happen.
Is it coming up the west side of Florida?
Yes. in the Gulf. So we'll see. We'll know a little more about it at the end of tomorrow. We'll probably know a little more.
Yeah.
I was fortunate enough to live on the west coast of Florida, Orlando, and then the east coast of Florida. So I got all the angles.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because you lived up in Jacksonville, right?
Yeah, that was the last place I lived. Yeah. First, I was in Orlando in 2005. In 2008, I was in St. Petersburg, and then the last 5 years was Jax.
Wow, so you got it all, didn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You just didn't get the more southern.
Oh, I was down there.
Jacksonville, I guess, is pretty southern, isn't it?
Well, they say the further north you go in Florida, the further south you are.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Orlando is not really south.
Yeah, it's just metropolitan.
Yeah.
Every other major city.
Oh, this is interesting. Vic says, I found some unused sludge inventory stories I'm going to do some practice with soon. So, Vic, who were the writers on those? Because if there's one, Well, no, I was probably the editor of those.
Yeah.
There's one written by Paul. No, that one got published, and that was Rune. Never mind. Sludge unused inventory story would have been Steve Gerber and Claire Noto. I think he wrote with a friend. And if you look hard,
I think it was it. Who wrote the two stories that Mitch and I did?
Yep, Gerber and Claire Noto. I think.
Yeah.
I think he wrote those with Claire Noto. Oh, it was Paulo O'Connor. He says Paul O'Connor. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So Paul did. He also wrote a. I may not have edited the Paul O'Connor. I edited Paul's Rune stories. He did some backup stories in Rune, and I know I edited those. I might not have edited the Sludge one. But
yeah, I was always so upset that those never.
And it was the second best looking Sludge.
Yeah.
I think. I love Aaron Lopresti, but I think it was the second best looking. You know who I think is the first best looking one too, don't you? You know why I said that?
No,
because Mike Plug did.
Oh yeah.
And that just gorgeous stuff. I think when I look at the whole of Sludge, I think, oh man, that is and the thing about it is no one knows that exists. I don't think. No. You will find Sludge Red Xmas in the dollar bins, and it's a shame because that thing should that's one of those should have some wizard value to it.
Wizard magazine.
But yeah, I was so disappointed that the one that you and Mitch did never.
We did
that
too.
Would have been the second. It looks so good.
Yeah. Did we do two or just one?
I think it was just one, but I think it was an oversized issue.
Yeah.
I don't remember it being two, but it might have been.
I think those we've got photocopies of those somewhere.
If you've got a full set of photocopies, I would love to get a copy of those. I've seen a page here and a page there, but if you've got a full book of
because we never got any of those pages back. Those were something that we never got back.
You should reach out to Marvel and say,
Hey, can I get my pages back? I don't know what you guys what you're doing with them.
Yeah.
No, because remember Barry was supposed to color them, and I think he got a set of photocopies.
Oh, okay.
To do the colors. I think. I'll have to ask him tomorrow.
Yeah, that would be cool. I would love to get a full copy of those on digital. So Rory, so we're talking about tonight how to talk to celebrities, and Tommy and I kind of decided that we would talk about it in kind of two different categories, because on the one hand there's kind of the comic celebrities,
sure,
and then on the other hand there's like the film and movie star celebrities, and we think they're different because we make comics. We think they're kind of different. So we both kind of talked about comic book celebrities. How do you handle trying to talk to maybe a comic book celebrity?
Well, I think you guys are probably the most famous people I know, so it's not that hard.
Can you mute him, Roland? Can you mute him?
Can I get your autographs? I haven't got your autographs yet.
$5.
Actually,
and you've had two chances to do that too.
No, I did. Oh my gosh. Well, that's on me. I don't know, just treat them like normal people. I mean, I've had really good encounters with everybody at cons. I mean, you introduced me to Howard, and he was super chill.
Super nice guy. And he didn't say what I thought he would say, did he?
I was waiting for it. I was going to hope for it.
I really thought that's the way he was going to greet me, but he did not say that. And
so you're growing on him.
Yeah, but you did get to hear some of the
bravado.
The next morning, right?
Oh yeah. Oh, that was good.
Yeah. So here's the thing. Unless something happens, I need to verify with him. I'm going to do that after tonight. Howard Chicken's supposed to talk to us next week.
Excellent.
That'd be cool.
And I know he's coming to Columbus in December, and I'm planning on being there. So
very cool. Yeah. One of the things that of course, Howard's kind of been one of these. How would you tell me? Would you say this would be fair to say? And I'd hate to. I don't mean it as an insult to Howard, but I think he's been one of these fringe superstars.
I've never met him, so this is going to be cool.
He's not like one of these. He's not like a Frank Miller or a John Byrne, but he still kind of has comic superstar status.
He's got a following,
but more fringe, I would say. And I don't know. Do you think that's fair to say, or do you even know? Don't know.
No.
You know, a full line every day in Pittsburgh. So
did he really? Cool.
Yeah. With nothing else, no banner, nothing, just empty table and him.
It's
so that's
funny.
saying something.
I think he brings like a box or a briefcase because he has a bunch of art, and he just sits down and throws his art on the table, and you can look through it and buy it, or he'll do sketches and sign stuff, and there he is. One of the things that for me with Howard over the last few years, one of the things that I've really began to enjoy is hearing him talk about the process and comics themselves. One of the things he said about balloons, I saw in an interview, and he and I swapped a couple of messages about it because I said, I'm not sure what you mean by it. I read this in an interview with you, and I'm not sure what you mean by this. Can you tell me more? And he did. So we talked about it. But one of the things he said is that he didn't think that the balloons should ever be, he thought all balloons should be freestanding. So things like this, where see how that balloon is cornered?
Yeah, he doesn't like that kind of thing.
He doesn't like that. Yeah, because he says that makes it part of the art, right? And so sometimes when a balloon goes behind the head and things like that, he doesn't like that because he thinks the balloon should just be on there. And so I was trying to figure out, like, well, so why do you think that? And I'm interested in those kinds of things. So why do you think this to be the case? I like hearing those. So all right, so Rory, then let me back up to my ask you slightly a different way then. So you've met Howard Chaykin. So let's assume it was somebody. What other comic book creator can you think of that you're kind of enamored of that you have not met? And it can't be Scott.
I'm always enamored by Scott.
I know.
He
and his 15 kids.
Right. And his 15 kids.
Yeah. The 16-passenger van.
Yeah.
Other comic book artists. I don't know if by name. There's a couple guys who work for Boom that are really good. One was at Pittsburgh as well. Because they do some like one-off storylines where it's only like 4 comics and that's it. And they've got one guy that's done multiple lines of comics like that. A lot of World War II style, almost like Wolf Hunter. Very similar.
Yeah.
And it was really cool.
So how would you approach somebody like that then?
I would approach it with a compliment and like, hey, I'm a fan of your art, or I like what you've done, and what else have you done? Just if you engage with a question too, it opens people up. People like being not usable, but they like having something to give.
Yes.
And so these guys are at these shows all the time, probably hearing the same thing over and over again. And I can't imagine how aggravating that would be.
Well, you probably heard me say one of the things I heard all the time for years is, "When are you gonna bring back Cat and Mouse? When are you gonna bring back Cat and Mouse? When are you gonna bring back Cat and Mouse?"
Well,
well, yeah, finally. But I can't. It was one of those things. Like, okay, I did this comic book. I did this comic book. When are you gonna bring back Cat and Mouse? I did this comic book. When are you gonna bring back Cat and Mouse? I've done other comics too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's weird because like you want to have something in the barrel that people don't always say, I'm your biggest fan. But like I would love to just go up to people and start joking with them, but I don't know what their sense of humor is.
Right.
Like
you don't want to tell the wrong joke.
Right. I'm from Cleveland. And so Drew Carey is obviously a big character in Cleveland. Right. And he doesn't live there all the time, but he still owns his own house there. And when I was in high school, my friends lived across the street. So we'd go over, sneak across the backyard. We was having parties. We'd always get caught, but you meet him, and you're like, no, I thought you'd be taller. And he would laugh his butt off. He thought it was the funniest thing. Because I don't know if you were just a little hardier up there, and you
got to meet Drew Carey like this
a few times. Yeah.
Wow, that's cool.
Yep. Doesn't always wear the glasses, so it throws you off. But yeah, my brother and I were out to eat at dinner once, and we saw him. We talked to him for a few minutes in line, and just real normal, natural Midwestern guy. Just like you're one of the funniest things happening right now, and that was during the Drew Carey show. So
okay, yeah.
Wow, he genuinely appreciates it. So people who are just genuine, they come across different. They hold themselves different.
Yeah.
So you know that you can approach them. They're more approachable.
Yeah. Vic says, it depends on the comic celebrity with me. Like most modern artists, excluding Ben Bishop, I wouldn't be that nervous talking to. So you would if it was Ben Bishop, then, is what you're saying. It sounds like.
But the first time I saw a comic book artist that people like brought stuff to, like, oh, I'm a big fan of your stuff. I brought this that you drew in 1980, whatever.
Right.
Was Dean Zachary. I'm sitting there with him. I'm like, holy crap, you're somebody. Him and I are just sitting there, shooting the crap, and it's like, man, all right.
Bringing up all those copies of the Ferret.
Yeah, I gotta find that.
Oh, dude, you should join me in my cheap box diving then, because I see ferrets all the time in there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Dean signed them all.
Yeah. I'm trying to remember how many. I think there were 16.
Wow,
Tommy, did you ink some of his the Ferret?
No, I never did any of those.
I know Jeff Whiting did inked him on the Ferret.
I think he did. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think so. I think that's so. What about? Well, you already talked a little bit about Drew Carey, but
I'm sure I've met a few movie stars
at Drew Carey's, probably.
Well, yeah, probably. I probably passed them there, didn't realize who they were. Because with the USO and like a whole bunch of armed services events, they bring people in, and like behind the scenes baseball, like most service people, like unless they're really into what's going on, if it's a concert, like a country concert or a basketball game,
right?
If you're like really into it, some people go. Most people are like, gosh, I don't really don't want to go to this. And they like bus us in and make us fill the stands because we're warm bodies. And most people there are like, oh, I don't want to be here. I don't care who it is. I don't care who's playing.
Excuse me.
Bless you. And so usually there's
Excuse me.
Usually there's the one or two B-list celebrities trailing around, and people get their picture taken, and most of us just don't give a crap.
That's funny.
Yeah, I know Scott, I think, met Gary Sinise once or twice when he was in Alaska.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, Alaska of all places.
Yeah.
I think it too depends on where you meet them too.
Sure.
I think if you're out shopping at JCPenney's,
mm-hmm. You don't want to be bugged.
Yeah, you don't really want to walk up and ask them for their autograph.
Sure.
Because they're out shopping.
Yeah.
Or with their kids, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I've told y'all my Michael Jackson story, right?
No way, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Out at Animal Kingdom when doing the caricatures. This was, of course, when he was still with us.
Yeah.
You always heard that he and his family would always wear the what was it, the burqas or whatever it was,
really?
with the full outfits and stuff.
Yeah.
They came through. There was a group that had security people came through the area where we were drawing, and they came through, and then a bunch of security people, and then this group of people that were all some kids. It was his kids, I guess. Well, right. Supposedly his kids. I don't know. And then him and I think a couple of the sitters and whoever his supposed girlfriend, wife, whatever, at the time. And then once they finally all left the park, security people would come back by and says, that was Michael Jackson that just walked by you 15 times as you were standing there. Sometimes they would stop and watch us draw, and then they would just keep on going, and it's like, that was Michael Jackson and his family.
Interesting.
And you're like, wow, that was really weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I can I can understand how being out like that you would not want to be accosted, because somebody like that would accost you, not be able to do anything.
There's some crazy fans out there too.
Yeah. I've been able to, because of the convention circuit, I've been able to talk to a handful of people. Like I talked to Dean Cain, super nice guy. Not very long, but I saw him. We were it was the Wizard show, and I saw him in a booth, and my plan was to give him a comic book on his way out the door. So I grabbed a comic book and waited until I saw him walking. And I said, "Excuse me, Mr. Cain." I said, "I don't want to bother you. You're leaving." I said, "But I'm a big fan of your work. I would like to give you a comic book if you are a fan of comics. I'd like to give you something that might entertain you in the same way you've entertained me." He goes, "Oh, that's very, very nice of you." And he took it and kind of flipped through it. And he goes, "I will absolutely read this." And he said, "Thank you very much."
Cool. That's very cool. He seems like a pretty stellar guy.
He does. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, him and Kevin Sorbo. That was my
whether he read it or not, I don't know. but he did tell me there on the spot, and he had a security guy with him that tried to kind of stop me at first, but there was nobody around, so it was not. Yeah. I'm like, and I just said, "Look, I'm just going to give him a comic book." I also met Lou Ferrigno.
Oh, wow.
He was sitting at a table all alone, and I was just happened to be walking by, headed towards my table, and saw him there, and I just said, "Okay, there's nobody around. I have to stop and shake his hand." So I stopped and said, "Mr. Ferrigno," I said, "big fan of your work." I said, "Oh, thank you." I shook my hand, and you went, "Oh, my forehead!" The Hulk broke my hand.
Yeah, we saw Barry and I saw him. I think we have told you this story. We saw in some hotel. He was eating breakfast all by himself on a little table as we're going up the escalator or the elevator, and you can see through the glass thing. And Barry's like, "There's Lou Ferrigno eating breakfast all by himself." We went, "There's the Hulk."
Yeah,
that's good.
See, I think I don't know if in most situations, I might ask if they wanted company,
Yeah.
Maybe they don't, maybe they do, but I think I would ask, "Hey, would you like some company for breakfast?"
Well, we did sit. Patrick. Yeah, at one of the Pensacon shows, we were. He was staying. There was two of the hotels where they put all the celebrities and the artists and stuff, and in the middle of it had a like a little food truck thing, and we were out there, Barry and I, his family, and I don't remember if Renee was with me, but yeah, we were out there eating some from a Mexican truck or whatever, and he came out there and sat with us for an hour and a half, and we just chit-chatted, and yeah, it was really cool.
Wow.
It was really, he didn't turn on his his deep
yeah,
he was just regular talking, and it's like if he had on a big old crazy mustache, and he had a baseball cap on and stuff, and it's like once you realized it was him, you go, yeah, that's
But he wasn't easily recognizable, right?
No, surely not. But when he stood up, he's a big guy. So, you just didn't, when he doesn't put on that voice that he does when he's doing his acting thing. You like my acting voice? That was pretty fun. That was pretty cool. Yeah, sat with us for about an hour and a half, and that was pretty cool.
Was there ever a time of acknowledgement that you knew who he was and that he knew you knew who he was? Or do you think maybe he sat there the whole time thinking, these people don't know who I am?
No, he sat with us. We were already sitting down, and he came in, and I think Barry had saw him in the lobby earlier because Barry was Barry was in one of the hotels, and I was in the other hotel, and we just kind of met to go eat. And then I think Barry said something to him, like you were saying, something to do with the kids or whatever. So he recognized Barry in his family, and he goes, "Can I sit with you guys and have whatever Mexican such and such?" And we just we talked to him about Seinfeld and and he had remember he had a big part on the Orville. You remember he had that big fake nose thing. He was an alien on Orville.
Yeah.
So, he wasn't on this last season of Orville. So, but anyway, that was pretty fun.
That is.
Yeah, I've mentioned that story about the Nathan Fillion. Yeah, went at that one show here in Orlando where apparently he stole somebody's electric wheelchair, and he was zooming up and down. It was the show was dead, and this is over like where they do MegaCon and stuff, so it was huge, and he was just zooming up and down, and he stopped in front of our booth and chatted with us for a second because we were making fun of him as he was flying by, and we were, he just stopped in front of us, and we chatted for 5-10 minutes, and then I think somebody called him on his phone, told him to come back to his table to sign or something, but he stole somebody's electric wheelchair, and he was just zipping around. It was funny.
That's funny.
That's good.
Yeah.
We had a similar encounter with not on a wheelchair with Brent Spiner though.
Oh,
Brent Spiner is.
Oh yeah, the Data.
He's the guy who plays Data, right?
Okay.
Yeah, he's the guy who plays Data, and Jeff, I'm standing there on the front side of Jeff Whiting's table at MegaCon, or just talking with him, right? And Brent Spiner walks by, and he said, and he goes, "Hey, you guys!" And we're like, "Hey, it's Brent Spiner." And he said, "What booth number is this?" And
he was looking for somebody.
He was looking for something, and Jeff said so and so. He goes, "Do you know where booth such and such is?" And we're like, "We think it's right over there." And then he said, oh, "Okay, thank you." He goes, "What you got here?" And then Jeff said, blah 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 blah. And he goes, "Oh, this is really cool." And then he blew a kiss to Patricia, Jeff's wife, right? And he goes, "See you later."
Nice.
And
you gonna buy something, Data? Come on, Data, you got
money. Vic says, "Next Christmas, I'm digging for some Genesis stuff." You absolutely should, Vic. You should be able to find just about all the Genesis titles.
Find my what was the book I did? Gravestone. Those were fun books.
Yep.
Yeah.
You can find Gravestone. Tommy inked a bunch of those. I edited them, of course.
Yeah.
You can find Man of War. You can find the Protectors. You can find the Ferret. All kind of those in the cheap boxes. Oven says, "I want to meet Damon Gentry, author of Sabretooth Swordsman. I met Aaron Conley, co-creator, artist. He jump-started my love for indie comics." I don't know either one of those. So I hope you get to meet them, Oven. Vic says, "If I get famous, I'm hiding in a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle style trench coat hat combo." I don't know. If I were to ever get that famous, I would just hire some security people. Although I don't know, the disguise thing is kind of cool. So I got to. So some people know I got to edit a famous person. Tommy's heard the story, I know, but I don't know if you've ever heard the story, Rory.
No.
Do you know who Chekhov is?
Yeah. Oh, I thought you were talking about the Leland Ford thing that you did.
Well, I'm not. I wasn't her editor there. I was a writer.
That's right.
So Chekhov, right, from Star Trek, wrote a comic book.
Really?
And I was his editor.
Nice.
Well, that's not the way I would describe it.
No. Was that a one and done? I'm never touching this again.
Yeah. So it's funny if you talk to him. And in fact, I went up to him about 2 years ago, because you got to remember this happened probably like 92, 93. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I made the mistake of thinking that I was his editor.
Okay.
I didn't realize I was just his traffic boy. Right. He didn't want any feedback. He didn't want any. He just said, here's my script, make it happen. And so I made the mistake of thinking that that's what he wanted. And he would ask for, he would write the script, and then he would ask for changes in the artwork. And so part of what I was trying to do was head some of these problems off, right? Mm-hmm. So you get to kind of, if you work with somebody, you kind of get to, okay, I get this is what you're doing, and so you're like, okay, I see what you're doing here. You're asking for these kind of changes, so let's fix it in this issue, so we don't have to make these kind of changes in the future, right?
Yeah.
He didn't want an editor like that, so he one time on the phone, he's like, I don't want to. You're fired. And I'm like, and I just said, I said,
you can't fire me. I quit.
Yeah.
What is his name? Chekhov. Walter Koenig. Walter Koenig. Right? I was like, Walter, you can't fire me. I'm employed by the publisher here, right? You're fired. And so he hung up. And then it wasn't 10 minutes later, my editor-in-chief comes walking over to me and goes, what did you do to Walter?
You're fired.
He's calling up telling me I got to fire you. He goes, what did you do? So I explained the whole situation to him. And he goes, oh, my gosh. So Walter thinks he fired me, right? So what we ended up doing is Walter would call and talk to one of the other editors. And the other editor would just say, okay, what do you want? He just took notes. Nice. And then he'd bring the notes over to me and he would say, here, Walter wants this done. And so I edited the rest of it out, but Walter thinks he fired me, right? So a few years ago, I was at a convention with him there, and I'm like, you know what? It's been 20 years. What's the worst he could do if I walk up and say hello to him, right?
Yeah.
I walk up and fire me again.
I thought I told you you were fired.
Yeah, then I tell you, that means you can't talk to me anymore.
So I walk up to him and say, "Hey, Walter, I'm the guy that you worked with at Malibu Comics." He goes, "Oh, you're the guy I fired."
Oh gosh!
I'm like, really? And I just kind of smiled and I said, "He goes, I got to give it to you. You got a lot of balls coming up here and talking to me." And so he reached out and shook my hand and.
Wow.
That's when you said, you didn't fire me. They just told you that. They shut you up.
I contemplated that, and I'm like, nah, I'm not. Well, I'm not going to say
I would have done it.
I would have done
it. Maybe if I had more time, I might. But it was kind of a walk by, a drive by. How would you guys react to meeting Stan Sakai? Oh, I think it'd be very cool to meet Stan Sakai. But I don't. I mean, I don't think I would react any kind of special way. I think probably he's of that generation that, and I'm guessing this because I've never met him. He's of that generation, though. I think that would be super cool to meet. Yeah.
I'm not sure who that is.
Stan Sakai. Crap. Samurai.
Usagi Yojimbo.
Yeah, Usagi Yojimbo. Yeah, thank you. I'm like, I see it in my head, but I can't think of the title.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think for me, some of the more famous people might be a little more intimidating. So yeah, he just said. Vic just said Usagi Yojimbo. Yeah. Somebody like Brian May from Queen. I might be falling to like a stuttering.
Yeah, different than the comic book folks. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of these actors, though, I'm trying to think of it. I can't think of a single actor that I don't think I would lose it for, I can't think of one. But some of these musicians possibly, and I think maybe somebody like Brian May from Queen, Roger Taylor from Queen probably too, because the drummer.
I don't think any modern actors, celebrities, artists maybe just at this point in my life, I'm like, I've done enough to it takes a lot to be impressed.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's like, oh, hey, how's it going?
Well, and I wonder too if that's a bit of an age thing, right? Because I don't think I would have said this at 25. I think I would have said, oh, I could never, walk up and meet, Stan Lee, for instance. I don't know what I would say.
You're Stan Lee.
Yeah, I did that for science fiction writer. He was on TV. His name escapes me now. He had the TV show. I was sitting there typing.
Rod Sterling.
No, he'd be sitting there typing, and then he'd pull out the paper, and it'd go floating away, and then they would do Ray Bradbury. Ray Bradbury Theater. Yeah. Vic says maybe I'd get like super excited over Worf. Well, Tommy met Worf.
That was pretty interesting. He's a big guy too. Yeah. I mean, we didn't sit there and talk, and he basically held the curtain for me to walk through. Here you go, young man. I think that's what he's. No, I'm sorry. It was here you go, young man, because he's kind of super low voice.
Yeah, it's funny because he's on. Either of you watch Castle?
I've seen
is he on there?
Yeah, he is, because I saw his name come up. And I'm like, hey, Worf is on here. And then we watched through, and I'm like, wait, the whole episode, where was Worf? And then, of course, I went scrolling back through it. And I'm like, oh, yeah, he's the doctor. He doesn't have on Worf makeup. He's just a tall black guy, right? So,
who would probably make me stutter a little bit? Kate Middleton.
Kate Middleton.
Pretty. You go pretty.
Because I was probably within 50 feet of Prince William at one point. I was on the ship and he was in a helicopter. We do cross-platform training with different Coast Guards and Navies.
Oh, yeah.
So they got to practice landing on different ships and stuff. So,
well, you probably missed your chance. She and all the other royalty were together. Last week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got some friends living over there besides Peter. They were front and center. We got to shake hands.
Peter went.
Did he go?
Yeah.
Because he's three. He was 3. Now he's second in charge.
He said, well, apparently I have to go to this funeral tomorrow.
Is it required of all subjects?
Yeah.
And now everybody's going to get a portrait of King Charles in the mail. I think it's like twice in your lifetime. If you're subject to the crown, you can request a portrait of them, a picture.
Oh, you're being serious?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh. I wonder. I guess Americans can't request a picture of the president.
Yeah, I don't think I'd like to.
Yeah. I've already got a picture of the Three Stooges, so. Yeah, I'm trying to think. There might be. I'm trying to think of any actors that would just make me go, oh no.
Jennifer Connelly. Rocketeer. Jennifer Connelly.
Yeah, I do. I've got. You can't see my Rocketeer. Oh, where did he go? Oh, he's up there. I got a Rocketeer up there.
Oh yeah.
Hold on.
Classic.
Can I move? He's on top of my. Can you see the Full Sail banner? You see Full Sail right there? Yeah. Yep. It's that little bitty speck right beside it. He's sitting up there guarding the place, right? So,
yeah, I'm trying to think of some also that would just be.
I mean,
besides just where I would just just freak out or whatever. It's like I would probably just other than the time that I told you that I was just in the room with them and I'm I love you guys and I just walked out. I didn't freak out or anything. It's like that was enough. It's like, oh, there's too many of y'all.
Yeah. I think some of it is, like kind of we've all sort of said is it's kind of how do you approach them is like you just treat them like people and tell them, hey, I like your work. I've enjoyed your work. I do think that if you walk up and say, can I have your autograph? It depends on where you're at. You don't want to do that while they're eating.
Right. And I'm sure these people, the more famous you are, the more treated like a piece of meat you are.
Yes.
You just get bebopped around from one place to another. And Your hand cramps up from signing so much crap. Yeah.
It's funny. I my dad, I hadn't seen my dad get too terribly excited about, very many people we've seen. He's a country music fan, and so we go to the country music shows. But we went to a Razorback game in Little Rock one time, and we were sitting at a Denny's, and Tom Pagnozzi was eating just 2 tables away. And my dad, there's Tom Pagnozzi. There's Tom Pagnozzi. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. And you, neither one of you probably know who Tom Pagnozzi is, do you?
Nope.
Nope. He was a catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and he happened to play for the Razorbacks, so he was in town for the Razorback game. But my dad recognized him immediately. Right, there's Tom Pagnozzi. I'm like, you want to go get his autograph? No, don't go over there. But yeah,
I'm guessing to boil it down to me, there's not. I think we've talked about this before. There's not so many folks that I would like to just meet these people, but there's not that many people that I was just like, do I have to? Am I going to go completely out of my way to go see a movie star person? Well, not really, or an artist person. I'd like to be friends with a bunch of these folks, but it's not.
Let's do this. Let's
or a sports person, or
because Tommy, you and I talk about this song.
No.
So one of the things that conventions have gotten into, particularly these media conventions have gotten into, they invite these media stars, and then if you want to see them, you got to pay $60.
That's ridiculous.
So you're already in the convention, but you got to pay $60. Then if you want a picture, you got to pay more. So here's my question for you, both of you. Can you think of anybody? I know your answer, Tommy. Can you think of anybody that you would pay? Let's just leave it at 60. Anybody that you would pay $60 just to meet?
Just to meet?
No. If I can't just meet you as a person to person, I'm not paying you. I mean, it's almost like I'm paying you. You're my. I was going to say something bad. You're my.
Reminds me of the fraternity system at Southern Miss. You rent your friends.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah.
I think if I was like getting something out of it besides just meeting them, if I was getting some kind of piece of advice, if it was like some kind of billionaire or something, and I could get some financial advice. Like where I'm 35 years old, where is best to put my money right now?
Don't you think it'd probably already be in a book?
I think that's kind of a different. That's like a service or whatever, rather than just meeting. Yeah, but you're paying. Yeah, just to meet and get their signature, and I mean, I've got some signed stuff, but it's just people that I didn't pay for any of it, but I never. Golly, I think Renee stood in line one time, and then she quit doing it because she thought it was ridiculous. She got the guy that did the Crow,
Jim Barr.
Yes, stood I think like 2 or 3 hours in line somewhere to get one of our Crow books, comics signed. I don't even know where that stupid book is now. and she waited and waited and waited because she was just really into it. And then she was like, "I'm never doing that again."
Yeah. That's.
If I can be your buddy, I don't really care. I want to be your friend. I don't. Me paying you $60 to get, right. Or like you get the little signs when you walk by the people, and it's like no pictures or whatever, and you go by and you kind of sneak a picture, and you see people are like, don't be taking pictures.
Yeah.
It's like, come
which
on.
Is ridiculous.
Well, but they're there to get paid. I understand that's the deal, but golly, no, I'm not doing that.
Vic says, I need some pictures of presidents. Vic, I actually have, it's not up on my wall. I used to have it on my wall. I actually have one of those, all the presidents, right? And they've all got little bitty pictures, but it's a in a picture frame that just lists all the presidents.
And you got it all signed?
Yeah, all of them are signed. Yeah.
How did you do that? That is so cool.
Incredible.
And then Vic says, if I'm paying to interact with you, you're kind of like an escort.
That's right. I didn't want to say it. That's what it feels like.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, I really would rather be your friend. If I can't be your friend, I don't really see much use in doing it. Yeah. I don't know.
So when these celebrities do these cons and shows and charge exorbitant prices just to meet them, usually it's because like they're harder for cash or they really like the fan base.
I guess, and I can see it.
No. That's not the case. So well, I let me rephrase that. I don't know that that's the case for sure. But what happens is that the celebrities have a price to get them to the show. Okay.
Yep.
So let's say the show reaches out to Rory, and Rory says, and they say, hey, Rory, we want you to come down to our show. Roy says, you got to get me there, put me up in a hotel room, and I need a $10,000 guarantee.
Ooh.
Which basically says that they guarantee you that you're going to make $10,000 at the show.
Before taxes. Yeah.
Yeah. Just what you bring in. Right. And so the show then says, okay, here's your line. We're going to charge $60 a pop. And I don't know how if you 60 divided by 10,000 would be what? How many people's that? Let's do some quick math. Because I can't do quick math. I got to pull up a calculator. Let's see a calculator on my computer here. So if you got $10,000 guarantee and you divide it by $60, that's only 167 people, right? So in the grand scheme of things, that's not really a lot, right? 167 people paying $60 a piece for your photograph. I don't know. So you may be right. I don't know. Maybe they're hard up for cash, but I think a lot of it is the convention is trying to say, hey, we've got to pay for this guest because this guest costed us $10,000, and how are we going to make that money back?
Yeah, see, I think that's two different things. I understand that they need to charge all that kind of stuff because they're hoping to get these bigger people in, right? So that way they need to, pay them to come to the show. So that's the reason why they charge those things. But that's different than me personally paying the person $60. I'm not gonna pay it, but I understand why that they're charging those things. Right. It's just that
yeah. So Oven says, I think you'd have a good time attending Fanboy Expo in Orlando. There's a lot of pop culture icons that are guests. So here's the thing I would say about that, Oven. Do I got to pay to meet them? If I got to pay to meet them, I would not have a good time at all. It's like MegaCon. I've been to MegaCon a whole bunch of times, and they often have guests there that I'm like, oh, cool. I would like to meet them. The guy who was in Princess Bride was there the last time I went. What was it? Carey right? Yeah. I don't know how to say his last name for sure. But or Ilwes or Elwes. I don't know how to say his last name. I've just always said Ules.
Let's see. Yeah.
He was the guy that was on the Princess Bride. I would have loved to have, hey, dude, you're super funny in the Princess Bride, and I really like that. But no, you had to pay $60, and they had him in curtains, right?
You couldn't even accidentally see them.
No, you could not accidentally see him. You literally had to pay your money to get in.
That was like that episode that year that Mark Hamill was at MegaCon, and you could see him going to the booth but he was behind curtains. There was no way you could accidentally just lay your eyes on the man.
And see that, I don't know, that's kind of nuts. Oven says The Undertaker charges $240 for picture or autograph and an extra $80 to write Hall of Fame 22.
Yep.
Who's The Undertaker?
The Undertaker, he's a wrestler. Yeah.
Oh, okay. So $240 just for a picture, and then if you want right Hall of Fame 22, it's an extra $80. See, no, I'm sorry, not me. I am not that demographic for that.
Yeah.
Vic says single photo. Yeah, that's right. So
I'll have you know that I was at one of the shows. I didn't have lunch. I was eavesdropping on him, but with Kevin Nash, and I'll have you know I'm taller than Kevin Nash. So just to let everybody know. Kevin Nash is about 5 feet, 5 times my chest. He's a big old dude, but I was taller than Kevin Nash.
I don't know who Kevin Nash is.
He's another wrestler.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I just looked him up and pictures came up and I'm like, still don't know who he is. Oh, there's a wrestling picture.
I was gonna say of Crosby, Stills, and Nash.
Yeah, that's where you go.
I'm gonna go back to my pictures of Kate Middleton.
Big, sexy.
You
gotta be a wrestling fan. Got to be a wrestling fan. That was fun. There's I think I got more of a kick of going to some of these things and seeing the wrestler folks because I just thought that was fun, rather than the movie stuff. Yeah, because I always just thought the wrestling people were just fun, lots of fun. Yeah. I love movies, of course, but
Yeah. I don't know. I'm trying to again. I'm trying to. Here we go. Vic asked this question, Tommy. Here we go. How tall are you?
6'6". if I stand up all the way, there we go. I'm standing up now.
Yeah.
A lot of Silverline people are tall.
Yep. And now I'm 50-some years old now, so maybe I've shrunk a little bit. But at my height, I was 6'6".
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the last time it was 6'5" in a little bit. So I shrunk a little bit.
That's because those spinal column begins to like.
Yeah. And all the bike riding we're doing is jamming my spine into the bicycle seat. I guess.
Yeah.
Hey, in the Coast Guard, it's not uncommon for people to be 3 or 4 inches shorter than when they started.
Really?
Because you're on the boats and you're hitting those waves again and again and again. So, spinal compression.
That's interesting.
So at the end of it, they put you on a machine and they
stretch you out.
Yeah.
Put some fluid into your spine.
I was telling Tommy I'm on one of those Batman things. You
hang upside down.
That movie that Batman hangs upside down.
Yeah.
Vic must be tall then. Vic says I'm almost Tommy size. How tall are you, Vic?
Yeah. I was 6 foot tall in the 2nd grade, I think is what it was. No, I think I was born this tall.
Your poor mother.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, I know.
Tall. I'm tall. You're pretty big, Mr. Beard.
Yeah.
How tall are you, Rory?
Yeah.
6'2" on a good day.
6'2". Okay, yeah. I was going to say 6'1", but yeah.
I'm probably 6'1" now after. Yeah, haven't measured my height in a while.
Vic says 6'2", bordering on 6'3", I think. So I probably got you, Vic, by about half an inch. If you're bordering on 6'3", because I was 6'4", but the last time I went in, she said I wasn't quite 6'4". Probably the same reasons that Tommy was saying. I think she said I was,
shrink a little bit.
Yeah, my and I do actually know that I have a disc issue in my lower back. So
same.
Do a lot of stooping
disease.
Yeah. It's one of those things that if I lean over a little bit, then I sit up, it pops every time in the back.
And you go, oh, that feels so good.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I got one. We got one of the, or actually, BJ got me one of these long rollers that's about that big around.
Oh, I love those.
I lay on the ground and I just roll back and forth. And my back goes pop, 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 pop. Oh, it's so good.
It's amazing.
Matter of fact, I want to go do it right now. Talking about it.
Tall people problems. That should be the next step. Next Sunday.
Tall people. No, next Sunday is Howard Chaykin. So.
Oh, that's right. We'll do a couple of weeks after that. We'll do tall people problems.
Yeah. So any other thoughts about how to talk to celebrities, you guys? before we call it a night here?
Yeah, they throw money at him and say, "Talk to me, dance for me, dance for me."
Look how great you are.
Dance for me. Shut up talking. Just
get up and dance for me.
Dance, monkey, dance.
Dance.
That's Tommy and I say all the time.
That's a different. That's a different subject.
That's a different subject. Yeah, it is. Vic says, "I got to work for Silverline to join the tall armada."
Yeah.
No, we got some shorties. We did. We got some shorties.
Yeah.
Mr. Quentin. I was.
Jose's not tall.
No. Pete's pretty tall.
Pete's
tall.
Pete's tall.
Yeah.
I would say I don't remember how tall he said he was. I would say Pete's at least 6 foot.
He's at least. Yeah.
He's probably 6'1". I think Tim said he was 6 foot flat. I had to get him to repeat that because I didn't get the 6 foot flat. What? Or no, he said 6 flat. And I'm like, what? 6 flat? Oh, 6 foot flat. Rob is probably. I've met Rob. I'm gonna say Rob's probably 5'11". He might be 6 foot. And RA's probably about 6 foot tall.
Really?
Thereabouts.
Scott's gotten shorter.
Scott has gotten shorter. Is Scott 6 foot?
No. He's kind of small. I mean, he's not small. I mean,
Yeah.
When you have that many kids, you can't get that tall.
Right. Yeah. The weight of all that responsibility, it just weighs you down.
I think his wife is taller than he is.
Jeremy was tall.
Yeah, Jeremy's a tall guy. Yeah, Jeremy is a tall guy.
Jeremy was as tall as he is.
Yeah, I didn't think Dean to be taller.
Dean is not tall.
No.
Dean's probably, I'm guessing, probably 5'10". Yeah.
He's just average.
Yeah. So Oven says this. I've never been to a con where it was free to meet celebrities. Oven, I will tell you this.
We were there. You were there.
Yeah, you missed. What do you mean you didn't? It wasn't free.
Wait a minute.
Wait a minute. I charged him. That's what happened.
You charged Oven. Stop it.
Yeah.
I'm
not giving it back.
Vic says you lose 3 inches of height every time you have a kid.
All the way to them sitting on your shoulders.
Yeah, right.
So they move out of the house, and then you get tall again as soon as they get out.
So Oven, the thing about Tommy and I can probably tell you is back in the day, you could go to any of these conventions, and not have to any of them that they appeared at, and not have to pay to meet them. Now, keep in mind, they didn't come by the boatloads.
Yeah. Now, most of it isn't. Are they some of the special ones that you have to pay at least just to say hello? But can't you just get in line and say hi? It's like when you buy something or get them to sign something is when they charge you.
I don't know.
Or take a picture. Yeah.
I don't know the answer to that.
I'm going to start charging, I think.
I'm going to do it all for free.
Yeah.
Really devalues anything with my name on it.
Vic says, "Oh my God, you met the gravestone guy? The gravestone guy. Are you talking about the comic book? That's Tommy.
That's me.
Tommy did gravestone.
I did a bunch of them.
Roy Burdine. Oh no, you're talking about gravestone. R.A. Jones, right?
He wrote it.
Yeah. R.A. wrote it. Yeah, I've met. If you're talking about R.A., and I did meet Roy a couple times. Did you ever meet Roy, Tom?
We personally at a show, 2 shows. We did. Yeah. One was a Malibu show, and then one he and I were just showed up at. I didn't even know he was going to be there, and he was at a Texas show. We were both there. Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
Because he lives in California. It's like, what are you doing in Texas? I have family in Texas. And I'm like, well, so do I. That's weird.
Well, now R.A. is from Oklahoma. So, and that's the first time I ever met R.A. was at Dallas, I think, at the Dallas convention there.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
But yeah, so okay. So he was making a joke about Oven meeting celebrities. No. Meeting. All right. I got it. Okay. So, But yeah, the truth of the matter is, a long time ago, they would, again, they didn't invite them the way they invite them now. So you didn't get a lot of them. There would just be a couple of them there. But they would do the panels like they do, and they would sit down and sign autographs, and you can meet them. And
as kids, my brother and I met Adam West, and in New Orleans it was a car show where they had the Batmobile, and they were signing, and I don't remember if my dad paid anything. I know we paid to get in. I think it was but not so much them. I think they were just. The Batmobile was there, and then they were there, signing.
Yeah.
And I got that
Batmobile, but then you get to see them. Yeah. My friend Keith Jones, right?
Kids. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too. He same thing happened to him. They came up to Brandon, and he met him there, or it might have been in Jackson. I don't remember for sure. Yeah, Vic said back when comic conventions were all about comics. Yeah.
Oh, not anymore.
True that. This is why we like Daytona Beach Comic Convention, because it is all about comics. If you like comics, it is all about comics. I got a stack of cheapies again from there, but all right, guys. Well, let's call it a night here. Before we go, again, shout out to Daytona Beach Comic Book Convention. As soon as we get the dates, we will let you know when 2023 is. I do know that it's going to be in September, but I just don't know the date. Look who's jumping in here. Hyper Potato says all about comics. I like comics. Hyper, we got to get you down to Daytona Beach, man. I think that you, knowing you what I know, I think you would absolutely love Daytona Beach Comic Con. Vic says, "Make mine Silverline." You jump me here, Vic. I'm not there yet. So Daytona Beach Comic Con. Don't forget if you're in Orlando, Coliseum of Comics. Shout outs to Kablam and to Orlando Collector Deviants. Tommy, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
Yeah, go on the Google and type Floramonte. Either you'll find my dad or me, and Florimonte. You got to spell it because you guys just cannot figure out how to spell my name. So
yeah, and
too many syllables.
I guess
I don't. Oh, I didn't. I accidentally turned that off. I don't know why.
We're gonna start again. God, we gotta start all over again.
What kind of email address is that, Rory?
Oh, that's for our German audience. That's Team Patriots off Deutsch.
Yeah, we've got a big German audience, do we?
Oh, we're international.
We do. Now we do.
So, Rory, where can folks find you on the interwebs?
You can find us mostly at Steam Patriots on Instagram. I believe we're on the Facebooks and steampatriots.us.
Yeah.
Excellent. Hyper says, I see Daytona Beach on the revamped live PD. I keep looking for Outlaw Roland. And then Calculus, or Vic said, jump the gun there. Yeah, he did. Hyper says, start all over since he was late.
From the top, once more.
That sounds like a Tom.
We got a show on Tuesday and a show on Wednesday.
Thank you, Tommy. We sure do.
Wednesday's way better.
Oh!
What did you just say? Can we edit him out of this one?
I gotta keep that in mind next time I send him an email. I can tell you, Tuesday their topic is comics will break your heart. What's the rest of the title? There's a colon there. How to stay passionate. That's cool. And then Wednesday, the Whammers are saying, what does the future hold for comic book art? And remember, next week, Hyper, you got to pay attention to this one. Next week, I hope to confirm it again tomorrow. He's already said yes. I hope to confirm it tomorrow. We're going to have Howard Chaykin. We're going to bombard him with all kind of questions. So, looking forward to that. Hyper said, what's more from the top? No,
start over.
Like and subscribe. Okay, guys, you know what time it is. Remember to make mine Silverline.
Hi, my name is Sergio Cariello, and make mine Silverline.